time for that Revolution in the Morning show. Come on down and get the straight truth. And remember, it's not my problem. Listen, I ought to make it my problem. I should be doing more, but man, I am telling you, this is a lot of stuff going down. That's what I would say. Okay? Seems to be corruption, well, everywhere. So we're getting here, waiting on, well, good old Revolution Radio to kick in there. And they got promotions. And thanks Dave and Mecky from Australia, man. They just wrapped up their morning show or evening show where, the other side of the world. There's some people that say that the earth is this. You look kind of straight across there. That's the earth. It's just wall. I don't buy it. Sorry. Oh, man. I mean, listen. They got people believing whether they're a boy or a girl. They even got people questioning whether there's a flat earth or there's a universe, okay? Man, O'Day, is people confused or not? Uh-oh. Hey, baby. Baby down there. Hey, hold on, baby. Hold on, honey. I'm sorry, but I got to confiscate your boat. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. We had to get the, we had to put the grinding noise up. Oh, yeah, you got to love life, right? Man, I am telling you. Ah, shit. So... wait a minute. Oh, hey, hold on there. Let me change stuff around here a little bit. I may have been banned on Facebook yesterday. I got a big ass strike because of yesterday's show. And give them the pie hole there, baby, for Facebook. Yeah, that's right. Oh, man. Hey, I got to check Rev Radio. We should just about be, okay. We're almost ready to go live here in a minute. So, God bless you. Yeah, hey, I got a piece of news that I bet you didn't fucking hear about. It's not about Trump and Israel bombing Iran. It's not about the retards in the UK. It's not about the morons in Germany or the south of the border shit going on here in America. Good God. This is bigger than most of this shit that's going on that people just don't know about. Hopefully, Rev Radio got my intros, dun, 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 about 20 seconds maybe or so to the intros over. And then we're going to kick it in like a pig and a poke and a hog and a log, okay? So you just sit back, get your bowl for breakfast and fill it with Cheerios, Oreos, or even, fire it up, because remember, you have to bake before you can wake. Anyway, good morning, everybody. God bless you. Yeehaw! Time for that Revolution in the Morning show. Come on down and join us, trying to stream live on Facebook today. I don't know if it went or not because I got stroked yesterday. Slashed. Yeah, it's like the modern day whipping when somebody bans you or limits you on social medias. But Rumble and Locals.com and even YouTube is in on the scheme today. But the biggest news that you didn't hear, I haven't heard anybody else talk about it. Have you? talk about the U.S. going belly up, going bankrupted. Oh, did you miss that part of the news cycle? While Trump is bombing the living fucking snot out of Iran. Iran shooting missiles back. It's an absolute joke. The United States government is insolvent. It's not bullshit. It's not somebody gaslighting you. It's a conclusion drawn by the U.S. Treasury Department's own consolidated statements for the fiscal year 2025. Released last week in near total media silence. The numbers are fucking astounding. The numbers, 6.06 trillion in assets of the United States government against 47.78 trillion in total liabilities as of September 30th, 2025. That's right there. While Joe Biden says, I handed Donald Trump the best economy and the biggest government, and everything else is a big turd of lies, okay? So remember, that's from September of last year through September of the year before. Remember, the U.S. government isn't like the rest of us. You know, they don't have a year. Their year runs from September to September. It's crazy. But understand the implications of this, okay? The $47.78 trillion as reported liabilities does not include the unfunded obligations of Social Security programs, Medicare, Medicaid. Those disclosed are disclosed separately in an off-balance statement of social insurance. Boy, that's like an Enron end around, isn't it? Yeah, government is a $39 trillion in fucking debt, okay? And they keep telling us they're going to spend less, and we know that's a lie. But everybody pretends it's a lie. It's like the old Soviet Union thing, you know? Everybody knew it was a lie. And everybody knew that they knew that everybody knew it was a lie, and that the people that knew it was a lie knew that the government knew that they thought it was a lie. As just sounds like our standard politicians today lying through their fucking pie holes. Sons of bitches. So the U.S. Treasury, yeah, man, I am telling you. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, well, let's see. It jumped 6.9 trillion jump protected by Medicare Part B shortfalls, and 2.5 trillion increase for Social Security. That's right. You know, that thing about the cost of living adjustment. Okay. Understand the cost of living adjustment is supposed to be the inflation offset for people that are on these static programs. And everybody knows, and everybody on Social Security, everybody on disability, everybody that gets one of those checks, they know damn well that little increase, whatever it is, 2.8%, 3%, blah, 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 never meets the real threshold of the cost of living adjustments that we, the people, face every day. Okay? So, yeah. Not just is the government broke. I mean, they're broke dick broke. Okay? And we have to understand that the U.S. dollar, the paper dollar, is losing value, hyperinflating and losing value, and people don't know it and see it coming yet. That's why people are paying so much for some of these things that are going to cattle. things that take a longer term to grow. That we already know that the prices are going to far outstrip the average person's ability to buy those things. So what are people going to do? Okay. Anyway, so yeah, the Government Accountability Office, it's crazy. Okay. It's nuts. All right. So what is it? The consolidated financial statements is like $136 trillion. Now remember, the politicians have promised. They have promised that they can turn the curve, that they can turn the debt back down when it gets at 50 trillion. Okay? I mean, listen, to be a voter, to believe that, you have to be a fucking retard. Okay? You have to be a whole inbred dumb motherfucker that really maybe has the IQ of some recent immigrant from Somalia or Nigeria or someplace in fucking Africa. It's just a sad state of affairs. The low intelligence quotient of the third world. They learn to live within their zones, but the unfortunate truth is they wow. It's all bad. That's what I'll say. Okay? It's all bad. What else we got going on here? Let's see. I think I talked about in Iceland where the father was stripped of custody because he questioned the transiting of a little boy to a little girl. Yeah, an autistic little boy to an autistic little girl. Yeah, isn't that just special? Russia-linked arms trafficker. Corrupt African officials tried to supply a Mexican cartel with surface-to-air missiles. Oh gosh, look, they're gonna try to send it all back to Russia. Everything, all of the surface-to-air missiles, all the drones, and all the military hardware and stuff that the Mexican cartels have gotten. It didn't come from Ukraine, did it? But anyway. Virginia prosecutors in Virginia, federal prosecutors, charged 4 men, a Bulgarian arms trafficker with ties to the notorious Russian weapons dealer Viktor Bout. And several African co-conspirators with connections to the governments of Uganda and Tanzania. Isn't that special? $58 million military arsenal for the CJNG cartel, where the head, what was his name, El Mencho or whatever, he was just killed and buried in a golden freaking casket. Yeah, they're gonna have to guard that grave just because of all the value of the casket. Because it'd be just like somebody else in the future gonna plunder that casket for the gold. I'm just saying. Anyway, so yeah, these guys, I guess evidently, whether before, during, or after all of that happened, they tried to get better arms and weapons. The DOJ's case runs through Bulgaria, Spain, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Morocco, and Guyana, tied to an effort by the gang, probably reverse using their drug cartel distribution networks to try to bring guns and weapons back. Okay. Now, the the U.S. military and Donald Trump and Iran are trading barbs back and forth. Okay. Meanwhile, the missiles continue to fly out of Iran. Reuters has a story out there about all the missiles coming from Iran hitting Israel. Now, the U.S. and Israel, last night or yesterday, take your pick on how the night and day goes with these operations. They struck more gas and oil fields in northern Iran. Yeah. So it's clear that the U.S. is essentially trying to drive up the price of fuel. Okay. In fact, Vladimir Putin said, look, gouge the shit out of them. No. He didn't say charge them an extra shekel. No, that's not what Vlad said. He said charge the premium prices and pay off your debts with the oil. This is what he advised people to do that have the oil to sell it, okay, on the market. This is Vlad, all right? Still questions about what is actually going on the ground in Iran and going on the ground in the rest of the Middle East. Okay, Israeli-U.S. strike on a gas pipeline distribution station in Iran. Now, I've worked in them places. In fact, I helped the engineer to lay out and measure out and bend. Oh, God, man. In a station, at a pumping station with a 36-inch gas line. So I understand what the distribution station is and what it does, and and that's going to take a couple months to repair it at the very least. But Iran is now going to turn around and hit some oil infrastructure in Saudi Arabia or Qatar or Kuwait or somewhere else across the Middle East. I mean, this is an intentional thing. Okay. I was reading reports yesterday that some diesel pumps and some places went dry in Australia. I won't say that we're not going to have that problem here because it depends on what all goes down. And what does and doesn't. Okay. One second. So, Iran published a broad list of potential targets and threatens the entire region will go dark as they will attack power plants. Because here is the truth. Without power, no refinery, no oil refinery, no gas production facility, no pumping station can pump gas through pipelines or produce or distillates from oil. And this is the other thing that the U.S. has threatened to do was to blow up Iranian power plants. I'm just saying. Trump says, yes. Trump says that there will be that the Straits of Hormuz will be jointly controlled with Russia and Pakistan stepping up as potential mediators. Iran has said, "Oh fuck no, hell no, 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 that's okay. We're good. We're not in it." Okay. Now Iran denies the talks while Trump says they're having really good discussions and stuff behind the scenes. Meanwhile, Trump says they're going to bomb the sons of bitches into submission, whether they like it or not. So what choice do they have but to keep fighting? You cannot, listen, Iran cannot give up the leverage that they have over the Straits of Hormuz. That's the real linchpin here. The question is, will it bankrupt the U.S. dollar and the Western economies, the modern state economies around the world? Will they be completely fucking destroyed? Will their entire monetary system collapse? And, this is, remember, always remember, central bank digital currency is waiting in the wings. It's already set up. The banks already have permission to move your accounts over to stablecoin or some other central bank digital currency. It's already baked in the cake. Trump signed it all. Trump in his infinite Israeli hemorrhoidness. Yeah, God, man, I swear to God, it's fucking nuts. So Trump is loving crypto. Remember, crypto will go bye-bye as soon as the first electromagnetic pulse wipes out the fucking memory chips, okay? All of the digital everything will be gone. Unless you have a printed receipt and then, of course, remember the banking rules and everything else, you're gone. You're a goner. The Iran, I don't believe, will allow a jointly controlled Gulf. Now, they may be forced to it in a way. But right now, they are letting Japanese, they are letting Chinese, they are letting Indian vessels pass through the Gulf, paying a toll fee in yuan. Okay? The United States, here, and this is what I'm saying, the United States cannot allow that to happen. Because the basis of the U.S. petrodollar, the U.S. petrodollar is in what? Yeah, I know, they're just paying a little fee in yuan. Okay? Think about it. It is exactly how organizations completely crash and completely collapse. They don't mean to, but it's a bank run. It's a bank run because people already know and understand that their money is gone. They've blown it up in fucking smoke. That's why the silver markets they were high. Now they're coming down, but they're not gonna. I don't believe that they're going to crash. Back down to what I would consider reality. Okay, which might be closer to $35 an ounce. Okay, right now it's basically $70 an ounce. Okay. Down $10 from last week, okay? And what will it take? It would take oil to go back up through the fucking roof, right? Platinum and silver both up. Gold is down a little bit. Gold's holding at $4,426 an ounce. So remember, all this stuff is in flux, I guess you could call it, okay? Anyway, the International Energy Agency is looking at the world supplies, and they're like, Jesus, it's time. It is time for the 15-minute cities, because the fuel coming from the Middle East and everybody is going to have shortages. Was it Australia just had announced that yesterday? We had talked about it last week, I think. But Australia just announced yesterday, I think it was, or Sunday, that they got like 60 days of diesel fuel and 45 days of regular gasoline and all this other stuff. And it's like, God, here comes Mad Max. And there all Australia is, without a decent weapon to protect themselves. Not just from the government, but from those that the government coddles to. That's actually probably the bigger threat in the world to everybody, is the groups that governments coddle that are violent. So yeah, be aware. They want people to use a public transport. They want to reduce highway speed limits by at least 10 kilometers an hour. How about people pay for their own gas and they can drive as fast as they fucking want? How about that deal? Huh? Hey, I remember the time when they said we got to drive 55 back there in the 1970s. 1978, 1979, when we had the energy crisis, and we actually had alternating days where we could get gas. I bet the pussy fucking kids don't remember those days. I'm bad. I'm sorry. I'm just bad. I remember when you actually have to used to get up and walk to the TV to turn the fucking channel. We've come a long way in the world. We don't even have to get off our ass to turn it anymore. We got remotes for this and remotes for that. I can turn my light off and on. I can start the truck or whatever remotely. You got all these things, and oh man, and we still just the smartest monkeys on the planet, aren't we? Now, come on, aren't we? Some of us. Some of us are still back in the dumb monkey days, man. I'm telling you. Anyway, God bless them, man. Oh, there it is. Combat drone production begins. Next generation startups challenge big defense industries with AI interceptor drones, automated kill chains, ground robots armed with machine guns, and humanoid robots with frontal view drones. People will be able to literally see the battlefield remotely. Won't even have to be there. Anyway, so yeah. Always remember that in living in the time of AI, just as Amazon found out that a drone can take out an entire data center, which can have a cascading effect like it did with Amazon's AI systems across the Middle East when they lost one of their data centers. So yeah, understand that these drones are going to be basically, they're going to have a drone the size of the cup, with some little motors on it that makes the dang thing fly like a bullet. You can put an ounce or two of a shaped charge of C4 and something like that, with a detonator right in the very front. With contacts, like they have on the, in the Ukrainian war. Remember, a lot of those have contacts that kind of come out, and so the bomb is actually exploding not on impact but on contact, on the contact with the what would you call it, with the probe antennas of the drone. But warfare is changing quite fast. That's what I would say. But in the end, World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones and clubs. I think it was Einstein predicted that, but I'm not sure. So they have some really.
This is the first autonomous fighter.
They have autonomous fighters. They have all kinds of autonomous drones and all that stuff today. It really is unbelievable, the stuff that our military service has today.
That the United States Air Force has ever procured. We recently just flew it for the first time. We went from signing a contract with the Air Force to first flight in 556 days, which is, as far as I know, the fastest new fighter development program since the end of the Korean War. The really exciting thing about this program is we were competing against a lot of the big guys. So we were competing against Boeing, Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin, and in the end, Anduril beat all of them, which was really gratifying to go from starting this company to going toe-to-toe with the guys who are legends.
Come on, let's see the dang
or 3 or 4 or 5 of these alongside with him, extending his weapons webs forward, his sensors forward, and allowing them to engage in risks that you would never want a person to do. There's a lot of ways to win a fight and live to see another day. There's a lot of ways to win a fight and sacrifice pawns.
Absolutely. So, drones are becoming pawns. The question is, when will we become the pawns? Or are we already those pawns? Yeah, let's see what else we got here. We talked about some of these stories already. They're catching up to us. Imagine that. Russia linked, we talked about the Mexican cartels. It sounds like deep state, deep bait for the American people, as crazy as it sounds. Chinese container ship is the first to pay for safe passage through the Hormuz Strait. An Iraqi tanker crosses with the signal off. Growing number of ships are crossing the blockaded Strait of Hormuz. Well, they're going to have to. Okay. The truth is, those ships can't sit there all day, all long for months on end. They have limited supplies on board, and whether you know it or not, most often a lot of these places don't even allow the crews to come on land. Okay. And besides, the crews are working. But, yeah. Well, wow. Here's a mysterious fire. Was this mysterious? I don't know. An explosion and massive fire in Port Valero's Port Arthur refinery. Now, I thought Valero was Venezuela. Maybe I'm wrong. But, wow. Anyway, so a fire broke out at a diesel hydro treater. The unit suffering severe damage, said people familiar with the incident. The fire was located near the plant's fluid catalytic cracker. Wow, that's some interesting terminology. Fluid catalytic cracker, huh? And part of the refinery has been shut down, according to people who said a decision hasn't been made yet whether to shut the entire plant down. Okay? Sad thing, man. That's really strange. Are we going to have a bunch of mysterious refinery and pipeline fires now? Just happenstance terrorism. You know, don't forget there was a beautiful cathedral in Denmark, I think it was just a torch to the fucking ground. Beautiful, beautiful old cathedral from like the 1600s or something. A Catholic church. Torched by, guess what? That's right, a fucking Muslim. Okay? Yes, the religion of retardedness. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of religions that are retarded. Don't get me wrong. While you're working collecting Social Security. Yeah, were you going to file early or not for your Social Security and work and collect at the same time? I guess it could be. Israel's Mossad promised it could ignite regime change in Iran. Nah, really? Jeffrey Epstein's bros, man, promised it could change the world today. Yep, you fucking shekel lion motherfuckers, man. I am telling you, okay? David Barnea, Mossad chief, met with Israeli Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu days before the U.S. and Israel began their war in Iran. Told him the agency would be able to galvanize Iranian opposition in order to bring about regime change. Imagine that. Hey, can't we have regime change in the genocidal state of Israel? I'm just asking because somebody in the world should, besides their mortal enemies. You know, their mortal enemies are our mortal enemies, and they're also our mortal enemies, okay? So yeah, I frankly don't give a flying fuck about the genociders in Israel. And I don't give a flying fuck about the genociders across the rest of the Middle East. Maybe you do. But you have to choose which evil you're going to love and which evil you're going to hate. And always remember, when you choose evil, you've chosen evil. It doesn't matter if it's good evil or bad evil. Oh, my. Yeah. Anyway, Bibi Netanyahu, after genociding the Gaza Strip, is now working to, let's just say, to gentrify the Gaza Strip. And Donald Trump is a fucking shithead and a shitbag for even going down these roads with these criminal, corrupted actors. Okay. If Donald Trump was smart, he'd declare, the Rothschild banker family, terrorists of this world. Okay. He would declare the World Economic Forum a terrorist organization. He would declare the Center for a New American Security, it's called CNAS. He would declare that a terror organization belonging to the U.S. deep state. All right. He would go back and examine all the records and subpoena and pull everything from the Project for a New American Century and all of those traitorous motherfuckers that belong to it. Okay? Huh. Our government would never do anything like that because they know what would happen. They know both a liberal and conservative would rise up and take the country back. That the deep state, the intelligence services, and all their friends in high places would probably be hanging out in higher places. If you get my drift. Jeffrey Epstein was an agent of the Rothschild family, Israel, and the Mossad, and everybody else in the world was a goyim to be used. That's the reality that nobody wants to talk about. That Donald Trump has essentially been blackmailed into it. What he's been doing, okay? He's trying to satisfy this inner need to be the hero. That's why essentially Donald Trump did so well with MAGA and making America great again. It's Donald Trump coming in and being the hero of America. Donald Trump decided to become the hero of the Shekel Boys. He left America behind. Donald Trump wanted to be basically, king of the world. Now he's just another piss pot dictator wannabe. We could change Cuba forever by embracing the country and then literally having a cultural revolution. We do these color revolutions all around the world. I haven't seen the United States attempt one fucking bit to help the poor bastards in Haiti. Still being chopped up, cut up, and bumped up by Jimmy Barbecue. Donald Trump doesn't really give a fuck about humanity. He only really gives a fuck about his huge ass ego. And of course, don't forget, Donald Trump, just like every president, has been surrounded, has been isolated, and limited numbers or limited words and ideas and sets of processes of thought, all kept away from the president, kept the president in this bubble. It essentially amounts to regime change in America. When the CIA, the NSA, all the president's men keep him in a fucking bubble, and he doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground, except the system keeps right on system lording, if that makes any sense. Man, I am telling you. Private credit fund, latest to gate investors at KKR. A fund gets junked by Moody's. Fraud on a few large loans, the rapid growth in private lending in recent years, changes in the outlook for the software sector, and many of these loans that were taken out have gone bad. They'll get moved into stable coin. Okay, I'm just saying. All right. Man, I am telling you. Robert Mueller III. Okay. His legacy is shit to me. All right, and it should be a legacy of corruption to most people, but to the people that love the power, that were able to use it, and that are ingrained or ordained into that system, he was basically a 21st century version of J. Edgar Hoover, trampling on the Constitution, seizing new power on any pretext. Robert Mueller should have been sent to prison. That's right, The fucker should have been sent to prison long before Donald Trump was elected, when he allowed the hitman Whitey Bulger to continue murdering people while he was under FBI protection, and then while the Federal Bureau of Investigation knew that Whitey Bulger had committed a series of murders, the FBI, what did they do? They decided to charge 4 or 5 other guys with all those crimes, with all those murders. And one of them died in prison. The other, they're fucked up for the rest of their life because the FBI lied. Hell, they got 100 million, was it 110 million lawsuit against the federal government, okay? That was Robert Mueller. Robert Mueller was a deep state team player. That's why he was chosen to run the Trump-Russia collusion operation. Or, the special prosecutor version of it. Anyway, so yeah. Mueller took over the FBI 1 week before the 9/11 attacks, and he was worse than clueless afterwards. On September 14, 2021, Mueller declared the fact that there were a number of individuals that happened to have received training at flight schools. Here is news, quite obviously. But anyway, listen, this... remember, they pushed through the Patriot Act, and they pushed through a bunch of surveillance stuff. And all of that is continuing today as a surveillance system and a grid surveillance on the people. It is also the total information awareness system, which the government literally turns their bots on and off. Attack bots and regular bots and filler bots and everything. The media and the internet is essentially a brainwashing system if you spend your time browsing and watching and embracing social media. Okay? It's certainly a great outlet for news organizations of the traditional mockingbird media. As I said, these guys have become the MK Ultra media. Literally. We have MK Ultra education systems today. How else do you think you can get a boy to think he's a girl? Okay? Or a girl to think he's a boy with what? Think about it. You have to have self-affirmation. You have to have this grooming aspect, and you have to have it put in this positive light and tone and environment. It's, all of this genderism and transism is all brain fucking washing. It's absurdities. And you can get people to do absurdities. You can get people to cut their fucking breasts off and dicks off with absurdities. Even before these children are old enough to really know and understand. It is, wow. It's bad, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's fucking nasty. Thought I had opened up my bookmarks, but I guess I didn't. Anyway, lots of stuff going on yesterday. Well, where do we get down here? There we are. Okay, what do we got here? Supreme Court seems skeptical. That's right, skeptical about allowing late arriving ballots to be counted. Election day is, election day. Not election week, election month, election 2 months, election week after the election, or the month after the election. I mean, Jesus, God bless America. The Supreme Court says, wow, really, uh, election day is, well, election day. It's a federal holiday to, it's, you don't have, listen, in practical sense, the Supreme Court judge made a farcical statement. At the same time, it hits the nail on the head. Okay, it's farcical for myself. Okay, now a lot of people may not be, but they said, let me see. There is election day. There is a number of holidays. Where can I get where is the quote at? Yeah, Lisa Dixon, potential upheaval for the Center for Election Confidence, said, who was in the suit, brought the suit against Mississippi, who said they pretty much allow it whenever, but ever, said this hopes the Supreme Court will decide that the federal election day statute prevails over Mississippi law. When ballots continue to be received up to 2 weeks after the election, the public sees vote totals changing, sometimes even weeks after the election day. She said that erodes public confidence. Your mailbox isn't your ballot box, Tom Fenton said. The idea that you drop your ballot in the mail and it gets there whenever it gets counted, not on the day it's supposed to work. Yeah. The truth is, mail-in ballots should cease a week or more before the fucking election, so that we know that those ballots can get in. But listen, I know people are fucking stupid. I know people are ignorant. I know people just do the fuck what they want most of the time. You can tell people what, look, you got to mail it in at least a week before the election. If people mail it in the day before and then complain it didn't get there, and why didn't their vote count? That's just another level of fucking stupidity that we have from liberals when it comes to gooberment, okay? Really, I mean, these people are nuts. Anyway, understand what's going down, okay? Understand that, they basically want to count votes as long before and as long as after they can before the election. It is, it's just stupid government, okay? It is. It's just stupid government.
We have lots of phrases that involve 2 words, the second of which is day. Labor Day, Memorial Day, George Washington's birthday, Independence Day, birthday, and Election Day. And they're all particular days. So if we start with that, if I have nothing more to look at than the phrase Election Day, I think this is the day in which everything is going to take place, or almost everything. And then we have 3 points in time. 1844.
Well, here's the problem, Sam. Okay, if you don't mind me calling you Sam. Okay, Sam, here's the problem. And in a practical sense, every holiday you talked about is 3 or 4 or 5 days. Christmas to New Year's is a whole 2 weeks, okay? And Thanksgiving is a week, right? I mean, let's be honest. The kids just don't get Thanksgiving Day off of school. I'm just saying that what I understand the argument that Alito is making. I'm just being sarcastic and saying, in a practical sense, in a real sense, those days just aren't single days.
1872, 1914. And we can ask, what would people have thought on those days is meant by this phrase, election day? Which of those should we choose? Which of those dates should we choose?
Well, I think you could choose any of the three. I mean, honestly, I think the single best one, if you're just going to choose one, is 1872. And the reason I say that is because 1914 is the latest in time, but that's the one that Congress gave the least thought to.
Huh. Well, anyway. Election day is, well, election day. It's supposed to be, I guess. It's amazing. You know what's really amazing? In the age of this digital world and so-called digital security, that we have to count votes for weeks afterwards. Or allow people to, it's an abuse of the system. Let's be honest, okay? Mail-in balloting and all that became an abuse of the system when Democrats knew that they could sign people that are in a coma, in a nursing home, and they can get them a mail-in ballot and they can proxy vote for them sons of bitches. I'm just saying, when Democrats figured out that they could game that system, and then, of course, during the COVID scamdemic, which magically happened, when, Donald Trump and running for election and everything else, and it's just, the whole gamification of the world and life. Think about it. Think about the election of 2020. Think about COVID. Think about all the summer of COVID and everything else that went on that year. Okay, and I believe that they actually put out a flu. They put out a virus. They put out something that makes people sick, and then, of course, using that PCR technique, they could literally make a dead virus alive again. No, appear to be alive again, and say that person's gonna get sick. He's he's on his way. Yeah. Well, guess they was wrong again. Well, the aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford, is leaving the Middle East amid the Iran war. Okay. The ship had caught fire. Allegedly, it was caught fire in the laundry zone, and that the fire then spread throughout the ship and destroyed the living quarters of more than 200 of the ship's sailors. That's got to be a serious bummer. But anyway, other people have speculated that it got hit by some kind of missile. We'll find out later. We'll find out eventually. I can't say it did, but I won't. I guess I can't say it did because I was on some of them old ass Navy ships, and they have all kinds of problems. Was it the Guam? One of our ships broke down. We were on a NATO float. It broke down. We ended up in England for like 3 or 4 days. That was an interesting thing. But crazy stuff, man. Well, I should shut up because the break is going. I shut up on the radio. Talking over the break again. Man, I do that all the time on Red Radio. But anyway. Have you hit that psychological limit yet? I had to take the truck yesterday and get 2 tires and got the front end aligned. And that was all together. I think that was for the tires. And yeah, I think it was about $400. Yeah, it goes damn quick, don't it? Anyway, gas prices here, I think, are. I saw it. Where did I fill up at Walmart down in Rocky Mount? It was $3.55 a gallon. I saw it $3.88 at Sheetz on the way back down to Rocky Mount. But anyway, so yeah. Where does that break you? Is it your wallet? Filling a tank up with gas and not? Because right now it's costing $1 more a gallon before Iran and after Iran. Okay, and these I know these fucking clowns aren't even done yet. Okay. They're not even halfway through this little retarded shitstorm in the Middle East, okay? That's what I would say. We're not even close, okay? So understand that it is still a very active war zone, even though Trump has declared a victory and is essentially moving on. Okay? There are some major problems within government and security systems and forces. Okay? Insider trading. Moments before Trump made an Iran announcement. Okay, somebody put what was it, $1 trillion or something, gamble on the fucking table. Oil markets, oil futures surged minutes before Trump's market turning post. Yeah, a single pattern was observed in oil markets. Roughly 15 minutes later at 7:05, Trump posted a market-moving announcement about Iran on Truth Social. Yeah, we have to ask ourselves, are people at Truth Social able to see this and then front run it? Because we already know that these big trading houses and stuff, they'll get as close as to the exchange as they can for even running fiber optic cables and all this other stuff. These guys are running on millisecond windows, I think, where they have to get in before or they lose. Okay. Trump made the announcement and the market literally, jumped through the roof. Okay. There's also been the same kind of a pattern noticed in the poly market, they call it. This betting on event stuff. Okay. Yeah. Anyway. What else we got going on here? Remember that yesterday at LaGuardia Airport, where a fire truck was struck by an airliner and ripped the whole front of the nose of the plane off and killed the pilot and co-pilot. Well, they had to send an investigator. Remember, this fire truck was zooming across the airport runways, going to some kind of emergency on the other side of the airport. Well, it turns out that an investigator sent to LaGuardia to look into the crash. They were stuck in TSA lines for 3 hours. Okay. Oh God. Hey, I'm sorry, Rev Radio. I talked over and then I started talking and forgot about you. I'm sorry. Back though. We're back. We're talking about the Guardia and the fire truck crash. You know that uh, the investigator going to look at the wreckage was stuck in let's just say in line hell for 3 hours. The National Transportation Safety Board had to beg to let her through the line. Yeah, imagine that, you know. But I don't blame people for not wanting to give up their spot, okay, and to move aside because it's like you're going down the highway. When I went up to Roanoke yesterday, there's one place where there is construction, and I stopped by a dump truck half a mile before this where the road closed over because of the barricades, and I stopped the traffic behind me in the fast lane. I was going to have all the other cars run up past me and take me 5 times as long because they all bypassed waiting in line. I made them wait in line. And then the trucks, there was a truck or two that was doing it too, was behind me. So we could all get through that zone in a orderly and quick manner. But there's a lot of people that don't care. They don't pay attention. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. They say in the next coming days, March 27th is going to be a make or break day for travel in the United States of America. Okay? Because of the government shutdown that is going on right now. Okay? That TSA wait times are getting too long, and that how I mean, how could the planes then have to wait that long? I'm just saying how stupid it is. Okay, but you know what's going to happen? It's going to be like people going to the gas pump and they see it $4, $4.50 a gallon in some places, and they say, "Nah, I'm going the fuck home." That's what people are going to do. Let's be honest about it, okay? Let's be honest. What else we got here? J.P. Morgan Chase. Yeah, they installed Muslim foot toilets in their restrooms. No, they're not. They're not foot toilets. They're foot bathing places, so Muslims can wash their feet before they pray. Remember, J.P. Morgan Chase. Remember, these fucking cocksucker bleed you fucking dry bastards. Okay, I want you to know that these fucking banking sons of bitches. Did you know that they have 0% Muslim banking? 0% interest loans? Hundreds of millions of dollars of loans by J.P. Morgan Chase made in a Sharia compliant fashion that charges 0 interest. And me and you and everybody else gotta pay the extra fucking shekel? Bullshit. Fucking bullshit. That's what I have to say about it. But until you know, until you know, you really don't know. Until you know and understand that the big banks in America are bending over backwards to kiss the ass of Muslims to get their business at 0% interest loans. I want you to think about how much that fucking weight you're carrying on your shoulder. Such horse shit, man. Such horse shit. Ex-Border Chief Bavino called migrants filth, yet claimed minority status. Well, imagine that. What do you mean? So what you're saying is an illegal immigrant uh, is just a minority. Oh, so much for your, this psychological stroking of what do they call that? Identity politics, huh? Oh, you can't get away from it, man. It's fucking nuts, okay? Well, but there it is. Drunken flash mobs turn Florida beaches into war zones. I still believe that all their parents, if these clowns are under the age of 18, their parents should be held accountable and their parents should be arrested. And somebody that sent their little brat on spring break and arrest the parents if they get in trouble. I think that's only fair. Okay, teach everybody a little level of responsibility. Yeah, I mean it's crazy. There was a woman in I'm not sure where she was at. I might have been D.C. Yeah, it might have been in Nashville or someplace. But a white girl was her car was surrounded by an entire mob of black kids. They were basically berating her, just doing what drunk dumb fucks do. Okay. So they surrounded her car and wouldn't let her leave. They were jumping on her car and sliding down the hood and. Evidently, the police, evidently, the chicken shit police that, remember, the police with the Supreme Court decision that the police do not have to protect you. They're not duty bound. Okay? Always remember that they're not duty bound to protect you, John Q. Public. So evidently this girl was surrounded and she feared for her life, so she run the motherfuckers over. That's right. She put her Tesla in gear, or she said, Tesla, help, take me out of here. And, the car ran over people. 6 people were injured, and now she's charged with aggravated assault. What a load of fucking horse shit, okay? It's back to this idea where people can stand in your road and impede your path, and then smash your windows and take and steal or do whatever, okay? Yeah. That's some shit, isn't it? And you and I know it, that the best thing to do is what my neighbor Jeff did down in Greensboro when the BLM was down there mobbing the highways. He hit one of them and drove away. He said, I'm not stopping. But the thing is, Jeff had cancer. He was weak and he was tired, and he had his 9mm. He always carried it with him. And believe me, he could, at 30 yards, Jeff could put 3 bullets in a hole like this, okay? He had a little laser sight that was really good. Anyway, but Jeff thought it was a really steady shot. I'm glad he didn't have to defend himself like that, because Jeff would have had no problem putting the holes in the sons of bitches. And he uses a little more colorful language, but I just think today people are equal idiots all over. I don't know why, but they are. Meanwhile, wildfires are ripping through unusual parts of the U.S., raising fears of a coming brutal fire season. You know, in Arizona and New Mexico and in the Southwest United States, did you know there's a drought? There's been a drought for years, often for the most part for years. It's been extremely hot early, which essentially means that everything is going to be it's going to be extra dry, and it's going to go up, poof, and it's going to go up. Faster than you can realize. So yeah, it is some stuff going down. Well, I didn't see it. I don't think you saw it, but the moon got hit by a big ass asteroid. Declared a once in a century event. Well, we never saw it happen live. Considering, now we see all kinds of objects go into the sun. I don't know how many objects we have, things literally looking at the moon, or if we have some seismometer stations on the moon that would get the ping, because remember, the moon rings when shit slams into it. Maybe that's why my ears are ringing again. All the time. Well, again. Yeah, it's again when you get up in the morning and you wake up, and there you are. It's again. Remember, again is every day. Isn't it special? Yeah, it is. So, how much is it going to take for you till you stop driving and going extra trips and everything else? Okay? Yeah. What else we got going on here? Putin again tells energy giants to use the Iran war to pay off bank loans. Okay, yeah. Nuclear fuel supply chain advancing rapidly as reactor developer X Energy files an IPO for I guess a reactor development system. Well, yay! That's just what we need to make people glow more. I'm not against advanced energy systems, which what I consider nuclear and fission and fusion to be, because we have fission, right? To be fusion to be, okay? The company developed XE100, the 80 megawatt high temperature gas cooled reactor designed for both electric generation and high temperature process heat molecules. Can develop individually on a 4 and 12 unit plants, scalable output, blah blah blah. Yeah, so I would say remember that the first gas-cooled nuclear reactor in the United States, I believe it was at Peach Bottom Atomic Power Plant Unit 1. Now, I worked in Units 2 and Unit 3 there at Peach Bottom Atomic Power Plant. And, well, maybe that's why I seem like, Homer Simpson sometimes, because let me tell you, it just fucking does seem like that's in the idiocracy inside a nuclear power plant. It's like, really? I thought these things were run by scientists and geniuses. Turns out they're run by meth heads and unions. That's fucked up. It's bad when you work in a nuclear power plant and they have a major methamphetamine investigation where one of the guys got caught bringing a pound to work. Listen, meth does big block pan meth. Meth still shows up on the on the X-ray machine. Just wanted to tell you that if you didn't know. My friend Steve found out that brass pot pipes do too. Evidently, he left it in his lunchbox from another job. Mr. Nichols did not work at the power plant anymore. Oh, God. Anyway, so construction permits and everything is going to get rammed right through because, well, remember, the data center is more important than your heating and cooling. It's more important than you having affordable electric. Remember, the data centers are essentially the control grid. AI, digital, a digital dystopian terror world. Where, I mean, listen, if you fart, your house is going to say toxic waste in room 3, bedroom, toxic cleanup, activate air conditioners. I mean, you're going to, listen, your house, and the thing is, your house is going to be about the size of a fucking potato chip stamp, okay? You'll have your pod. You'll have your when you get married, you have your pod, and then you can attach a pod for your children. One boy and one girl, and then you might even be able to attach, if you're dumb enough to, a mother-in-law quarters to your little condo there, okay? Remember, you're going to live in a tiny house and love it. You're going to look at life through a screen in a box, and this is how you will interact with the world, except when you walk 15 minutes one way and 15 minutes the other way. Well, here's the problem with a 15-minute city. A tricycle, a little kid on a tricycle can cross it in a minute. That's all I'm trying to say. There's no way that they will be able to contain humanity within these little zones unless there is a major split and a major war, and those zones are essentially, what do you call them? No man's zones between countries and territories. But I can guarantee you there's going to be loads of people living out there in the free world, not within the regulated kingdoms of the United Staters and the George Orwell's tampon strip over there. Remember, George Orwell's 1984 was a warning. It was not a blueprint for society. This is what appears as has happened to today. Yeah. Anyway, it's crazy. Okay. Oh, look, they have a video. They found the video. I want to see if it's I want to see what they got here. Well, I just see some oh shit. Oh shit. Well, we're going to have to, you guys are going to have to see this on the camera, okay? They do have video of the plane hitting the fire truck, okay? Evidently, there was an entire, there were 6 or 7 fire trucks headed down the runway or across the runway, and kaboom, man! It just, yeah. It's going across. You really can't see it, but there's a whole line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 vehicles, and everybody stopped but one fire truck. It literally got plowed in the side by the jet, man. I mean, they're going down the runway, and the plane is accelerating to take off, it appears. And, man, it just, whew. It looked like it went about 80 to 100 yards after the impact of the fire truck, literally rolling the fire truck up. Wow, that's some shit. But life comes at you fast, and you know, just like I experienced weeks ago when I had a green light and I didn't pull out right away. For some reason, it was dark. I had the dog with me, and I hesitated. I hesitated for 2 or 3 seconds. It saved my life. I wouldn't be here today. I know it. I know how fast that fucking truck was going. And when a truck is going 60 mile an hour and you pull out in front of it, this ain't a whole hell of a lot fucking left, okay? That's what I'll say, all right? The Epstein cover-up widens, okay? The fresh Justice Department files reveal a frantic document destruction operation at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Manhattan just days after Jeffrey Epstein's 2019 death, adding fresh fuel to suspicions of elite protection and deep state obstruction. The latest bombshell, drawn from the Miami Herald analysis of thousands of pages of in the Epstein files, there is a pattern of irregularities that they are looking at that are basically millions of missing documents. Okay? Evidently, bags of shredded documents were sent out of the prison. I'm sure it's done on a regular basis. However, the amount and the number of bags and drops that were made raises suspicion, according to all the people that were there that were doing it. Now, the question is, who was doing it? And maybe we should use some of these so-called enhanced interrogation methods on these motherfuckers, okay? Listen, where's Jack Bauer when you need him? You know, I know Kiefer Sutherland. I think he just plays an American patriot. But shouldn't we be ripping off a few fingernails? I mean, shouldn't we be waterboarding the living fucking snot out of these motherfuckers? Because I'll tell you right now, you start waterboarding some chicken shit little motherfucker like Dr. Fauci, okay? He's going to crack faster. Ah, man, he's going to crack fast, okay? If you go to take Dr. Fauci to a restroom that's covered with fucking feces and sitting down there in the middle of the feces and pick up torture tools that were literally on the ground with fucking poop dripping, snot and blood dripping off of them, and you take a pair of pliers and you go to Dr. Fauci, okay, we're here. It's about to get real. You got anything to say? That's where I'm at with this fucking shit, okay? I'm sorry. I'm not sorry anymore. I used to be sorry. But with the government and all the fucking lies and everybody rolls along like they're all in the same fucking limo, long black limo of the fucking mafias. The mafias. The government and the private sector working together. I don't know. Psh. Stupid sons of bitches, okay? One inmate said they are shredding everything, told one of the guards, adding that he was asked to give the officials a hand with the shredding. with key records vanishing before review. Imagine that. And remember Deep State Bill Barr. Okay, William Barr, the former Attorney General. As far as I'm concerned, you can strung that motherfucker up by his feet and beat him with a belt until he confesses. Okay? Nobody wants to take the hard line to get it done, for the truth to come out. Because the truth is, Bill and Hillary Clinton, the fucking corrupted to state, corrupted. They were willing to corrupt themselves to any depth for the state. Okay. That's what I would say. A Backgate corrections officer was also troubled what he witnessed in a memo to investigators 3 days later. On Monday, August 19th, he wrote, "I believe this conduct may be inappropriate for an investigative team to be shredding paperwork related to the investigation, and you may want to investigate why BOP employees were destroying records. Can you take a look at the dumpsters ASAP? If you see the paper still there, possibly they didn't dump it yet," replied one of the federal agents. But it was too late. They had already picked the trash up that very morning. Imagine that. So you want to know why I don't trust government? This is just more and more evidence why all of these sons of bitches are corrupted. Corrupted from the start to the finish, to the top to the bottom, from the inside to the outside. They are pieces of human dung. That's right. The biggest threat to our government is if an invasion of dung beetles came and swarmed through Congress. I swear to God, there wouldn't be a motherfucker left in the building. Bring on the dung beetles to Washington, D.C. That's what we need. Is that the only way we can roll these sons of bitches out? If we got an army of dung beetles. Man, I am telling you, that might make a good meme. Somebody make fictional dung beetles roll into Washington, D.C. and clean up Congress for the first time ever. Really? Bring on the dung beetles. That's what I have to say. Anyway, forensic pathologist Dr. Michael Baden, hired by the Epstein estate and a veteran of 20,000 autopsies, argued the neck injuries and ruptured capillaries in the eyes were consistent with strangulation rather than suicide by hanging. Hey, the question is, was it Jeffrey Epstein even? Okay? Listen, with all of the shit that is going down, and with the evidence, with the sworn testimony that Jeffrey Epstein left the fucking building the day before in a white van. Hours before. Jeffrey Epstein was out and the staged body was moved in. With all of the claim about all the records and everything being disappeared, there's more than enough evidence of showing the guards literally skipping Jeffrey Epstein's cells or block that night intentionally. Then they get thousands of dollars deposited into their accounts. I imagine it won't be too long before they'll be mysteriously fucking dead. Yeah. Really. I have no faith in government except that I know it will lie to me. And when it lies to me, it is because a government is the offender, not the person or organizations or the other peoples. that were involved. It's the government almost always. A Brazilian lawmaker mocked her trans colleagues the other day, and by wearing a blackface. That's right, a Brazilian legislator last week mocked one of the LGBTQ whatever activists' core arguments in favor of transgenderism with a simple demonstration and a assembly to the statement to the assembly. She pointed out that just because I put on blackface, just because I put this stuff on, it doesn't make me black now, does it? Just as it doesn't make a trans person a girl or a woman or a boy or a girl. Yeah, you don't understand what I'm saying, right? It doesn't make that person that person. It doesn't make them that.
Eu sendo uma pessoa branca,
As a person, having
tudo que eu
lived
vivi como uma
everything
pessoa branca.
experienced as a
Agora, aos
white
32
person,
anos, decido
now 32,
me
I
maquiar,
decided to put on
me
makeup,
travestir como
dress
uma
up as
pessoa
a
negra,
black person,
me maquiando,
to cover
deixando
myself
só o fora aparecer.
outside to show.
E aqui,
And here I
eu
ask,
pergunto,
so
e
what
agora?
now? Have I
Eu virei
become a
negra?
black person?
Eu senti o
I
desprezo
felt society's
da sociedade
contempt
por uma
for
pessoa negra
black,
que
for a
jamais
black
deveria
person
existir.
should have
Eu
never
te
existed.
pergunto, você que está me assistindo, eu me pintando de negra,
But she says,
sinto na
but
pele
she says
a
as
dor
watching,
que uma pessoa negra sentiu
oh,
pelo
you can
racismo,
translate
por
it.
não conseguir um trabalho, um emprego. Eu tenho uma tia, inclusive, que antes dos anos 90 foi atrás de um emprego, e ela é negra. E ela disse que na entrevista de emprego, ela foi ótima.
Anyway,
Mas aí, o pessoal que estava fazendo a entrevista disse o seguinte: você é ótima. Eu gostaria muito de contratar você, mas você...
so basically, here's an honest politician that said, look, if I put blackface on, that doesn't make me black. It's the reality of transism in the world and in America. Because a girl or because a boy puts on a dress, it doesn't make him a girl. Because a girl puts on a pair of bib overalls and climbs up on a tractor doesn't make her a boy. We have to understand that the psychological constructs that we have been embedded into today. I wasn't going to say inbredded into, but it's almost the same way. But yeah, crazy. 230 people rescued from flooding in Hawaii. That's right, torrential rains and a massive dam possibly going to collapse. Yeah, $1 billion in damages. The cause of the type of storm called a Kona low, which southerly and southwesterly winds bring moist air in onto the islands. The second such storm that Hawaii has faced this month. Anyway, so lots of wind, lots of rain, and Dole Pineapple has a dam. This sits high up in the mountains so they could grow more pineapples. Imagine that. Now the dam is threatening to break. Lots of people have already been flooded out of their homes. 230 people rescued, 72 children and adults airlifted by the National Guard and the Honolulu Fire Department from a youth camp retreat on Oahu's west coast. 5,500 residents along the island's north shore were ordered to evacuate as consistent rains threatened to cause the Waihawa Dam to fail. So be aware that while you live in paradise, every place can be paradise. I don't know about the desert, but I guess if you like scorpions and rattlesnakes, but a desert is, is a place to be too. every place has its roses and has its thorns. So choose well is what I would tell people. Let's see. The Trump administration is considering deploying the 82nd Airborne to Karj Island. Now, Bibi Netanyahu, the War Hawks, and all these other people are saying, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. Sorry. My stomach has been tore up. I don't know why. I've been gassing out. Man. Anyway, so, I mean, that's just stupid, right? I mean, would you bring in the Marines, or the 82nd Airborne? I don't know. I guess I'm saying I don't know. The reason I'm saying is because of the location and the ability for the Iranians to put fire onto any aircraft that might be flying lower and slower, over the Karj Island. Not something that's like an F-35 or something along those lines. Those planes can still get shot down by any, just a pump style old anti-aircraft guns. But the New York Times, the CIA preparing people for this, said senior officials are weighing a possible deployment of combat brigade of the 82nd Airborne and elements of the division's headquarters staff to support the U.S. military operations in Iran. Yeah, I don't, listen, headquarters and service company, yeah. The service, yeah. The headquarters, well. They're basically talking about support troops, mortars, artillery, other weapons systems. Anyway, a combat brigade of 3,000 an additional elite troops and thousands of Marines still en route from Japan, as well as some from San Diego. The first group of Marines reportedly expected to arrive in the Middle East on Friday. So yeah. Now, no word. I'm hoping that somewhere along the line we'll get an update on those two ships that were going to Cuba. Okay. I was kind of surprised at the lack of Russian military escorts for those two ships. I would have thought by now that the Russian Navy would be doing some escort duty for these sanctioned oil tankers that are going around. Okay. It just surprises me that Russia would leave them bare naked targets to the West. Okay, I'm not saying they have to send a whole massive flotilla, but two frigates or a destroyer and another ship going along as an escort would make sense, because the truth is, it would be a lot different of a diplomatic thing if they stopped them on the high waters. Stopped them right in their tracks. With Russian military escort. Okay. So yeah, I mean, even if Russia wanted to have a submarine, literally, go above the sea and then below the sea and above the sea, in a training exhibition or expedition, and take escort these ships to Cuba. I was surprised. capitulation. So I don't know what they're going to do. Okay. What else we got going on here? Chicago has Chicago has found themselves in a bit of a shithole. Okay. Just saying. Okay. Where was the? I just saw the story. I was just looking at this news story. But I guess it just bypassed me. Son gun. Well, anyway. Wow. Iranian missiles pound Israel overnight. After U.S. claims progress on talks, Tehran appointed Lara Hani's successor. Cuts gas flows to Turkey. Now, whether that was done in the bombing, or that was done as a means of punishment, maybe is a good description for bombing. I don't know. Basically, the bullet points are, back channel diplomacy versus skepticism. Is there an off ramp? No, there is no off ramp. As long as Israel thinks it can keep playing whack-a-mole any fucking time it wants, there is no any deal anywhere in the Middle East. Does anybody believe that the fucking that Hamas even surrendering is still getting bomb fucked in the Gaza Strip? It won't matter if Israel surrender or if Iran surrenders to Israel, because Israel will continue to pound, because it is part of their religion. I guess it's bombastic, just as the Islamic religion is. It's no place in the modern world for either of these throwbacks to the ancient civilizations that once ruled this planet. Really, they really are these supremacist ideologies of Judaism and Islam are outcasts in today's societies of freedom. Let's see. Both sides are firing back and forth, testing red lines. I mean, every red line that somebody put out, they violate. One side or the other, it doesn't matter. So yeah. Iran halted natural gas exports to Turkey following last week's Israeli strike on the massive South Pars gas field. Iran and Israel continue to trade blows despite this bullshit talk. Okay, this bullshit talk. Okay. Let's see. 100-kilogram warhead was used on an Iranian missile that slammed into Tel Aviv. Wow. Lots of bombing, lots of death, lots of destruction, lots of money. The New World Order is all about bleeding the world dry and reducing the population. It's a sad state of reality, and most people are oblivious to it. Okay? Well, Donald Trump should write a new book, The Art of the Dream, the art of the bullshit, the art of the presidential lie. Yeah. Yeah, the art of the dream. Trump's 40-hour deadline turned into a week-long one, says senior macro strategist at Robobank, Boss Van Greffen. said yesterday, the U.S. President announced that he has instructed the Department of War to postpone any and all military strikes against Iranian power plants and energy infrastructure for a 5-day period. Well, look, I don't believe any of it. It's a lie, a delay, if that's what lie to your opponents, lull them into submission, and then whack the fucking snot out of them. It's the same pattern that the U.S. uses in Ukraine. The same pattern that NATO, Germany, the U.S. and Europe used against Russia in Ukraine. They're only hoping that it will be too late for Russia or anybody else to do anything by the time they get it. As I said before, the only thing that Iran has is a weapon ability to force any negotiation is the Straits of Hormuz. The question is, the dangers of all of this escalating, not into even a regional war. I mean, listen, it's like this. The Iraqi military with Saddam Hussein was supposed to be the best in the world, and the United States wrapped it up like it was an afternoon fucking lunch parade, okay? Now, the Iraqis beat the Iranians. That should fucking tell you something. And you should understand something that I think most of the time in these countries, that the thugs are so used to beating up defenseless people that the religious zealots are, they are hardened fighters. But the truth is, they think, they rule with such a barbarism that they forget that you live by the sword, you die by that sword. And, that will be a never-ending war. That's another reason why, we have to stop sending these bastards money. I don't give a shit if it's Israel, anybody in the Middle East zone, from North Africa, all the way to Pakistan. $0 should be spent. America should not be wasting its wealth on shitholes that will never change. Places that were so-called the birthplace of civilization is essentially still uncivilized. And those people have yet to grow. And that's one of the things about Western society and Western freedom. You don't have freedom in the Middle East. You don't. You have weaponized bigots on both sides there. You could just go back and look at Southern Democrats, the way they treated blacks in America. That's the heart and soul of the whole fucking retarded Middle East. They're a bunch of bigoted, racist motherfuckers because they believe that they are superior to that other person. Not that that other person is a human. Sure, they may not be as smart as you, but they have the capacity to learn. Not to be used as cattle and chattel under the feet of your retarded armies and your retarded ideologies of supremacy. Because that's what Judaism is. That's what Islam is. They're retarded religions of supremacy, where those people that worship those religions believe that you are less than them. They don't even belong here in the United States of America. They don't understand equality and freedom. Yet we have all these liberal fucking retards and shitbags sucking at the fucking nipple and the boob of tyranny, lapping it up. Misplaced compassion can be suicide. I think we're seeing that across the world today. Where yes, you can give people a hand up and you can be compassionate and you can help people. But you can only help them as much as they want to destroy you. And then it's a new war. It's a new game. It's a new day. There's a video going around the internet of a preacher in Florida that was preaching, I guess, near a mosque or near some place, and you had idiot, retarded Muslims. I call them motherfuckers that, because they said, this is our land, this is our zone. You cannot be here because you're Christian. And my word to them is to fuck you, fuck y'all, get the fuck on the boat and go back where you fucking come from. Because Islam will never own America as long as I'm alive. I can guarantee you that. But it's amazing. Because the American people have the freedom to push back against these fucking assholes that want to destroy your freedoms and your liberties. Somebody was eating on a bus or something as they were riding to work or lunch or something, and some Muslim said, you should stop eating because it's Ramadan. And they said, fuck you, go get the fuck out of here. I'll eat what I want. I don't have to fucking bend my life around to fit your fucking stupid shit. Anyway, America. Well, freedom. Yeah, the freedom to tell people to get the fuck off. As much as Christians and Christianity and Catholics have been berated and beaten and mocked over the years, it's amazing that fucking Muslims believe that in America we aren't going to mock their fucking child raping, marrying motherfucking warlord, okay? That's what Muhammad is, okay? He's a baby raper. And they're going to have to get fucking used to hearing that. Because this is America and it's free speech. God bless America. Thanks, Revolution Radio. Hey, we'll be talking tonight on those Trump assassination files. Come on down and join us, 8 to 10 p.m. God bless. Good days and, well, good luck. Oh, yeah. Good luck, America, because, well, let's just say, the art of the nightmare is a deep state construct. And whether you know it or not, you are in the midst of a psychological war, an operation to bend your brain so they can control, so they can operate, so they can do whatever the fuck they want, okay? Meanwhile, after we dropped off Rev Radio, here's a story just come out earlier this morning. The senators close to a deal to end airport TSA crisis as Americans are fucking pissed. Not only that, but they're going to force the idiots in government, they're going to force those idiots to do what? To wait in line and not be able to walk around the line because they're a Congress this, or they're a senator that, or they're, fuck you. Yeah, you're not privileged. You're not privileged anything in the United States of America if you're a politician. In fact, you should be fucking cucking to the people. You should be, you should be simping to your voters and America. You shouldn't be simping to the party. You shouldn't be sucking up to the corporations. You should be sucking up to America. Because you be careful. The fucking, the human dung beetle ball rollers are going to come through DC. We can only hope. Take care, everybody. Remember that you do change the world. God bless. Good day. And good luck. We'll see you tonight, 8 to 10 p.m. See you then.